The fundamental principles of life, being what they are, have been derived from all directions of human endeavor, namely the sciences, the arts, religion, a term that derives from the Latin religare, or to bring together, or union, and meditation, which is nothing more than inner self-inquiry, deep, direct experience. It is through a light form of this that we have already uncovered existence, the consciousness of existence, and unity. But physics, biology, mathematics, philosophy, music, any dimension of human investigative and practical activity sufficiently deepened describes the same things. Physics calls pure being the field of zero-point energy, or the Higgs field, and has demonstrated the function of fabric on which and from which all other things are woven. With the experiments of Schrödinger's cat, de Broglie's duality, and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, the quantum consequences known as the principle of the holographic universe and the collapse of wave function, science gradually had to admit that nothing in the material world is what it seems. These physics experiments show that what we experience through our senses behaves like energy waves without location or form, part of a universal fabric in intimate and continuous communication, which take on a momentary form and location determined by a kind of photograph taken by our perceptual apparatus, which is in turn caused by ideas and concepts of varying degrees of antiquity, depth, and intensity. These photographs are constantly and spontaneously emerging and collapsing, always in movement, always in transformation, eternally in a rhythm of creation and dissolution. The great founders of the movements for the elevation of being that were later transformed into organized religions by groups of human beings discovered the same thing by the same path, albeit more intensified and deepened, as the one we used initially, meditation. To the one universal organism, existence, they called all, absolute, turiya, anatta, mahakasha, God, Tao, among other names. To the one who is the creator of all the particular phenomena within existence, consciousness, they called Creator, Brahman, God the Father, Allah. Of course, it is very difficult, and it is something that even has to be said to exist only within the human mind, to conceptualize and distinguish between these two realities that are so close, so one, existence and consciousness. How could we know that there is existence without consciousness of it? And the existence of consciousness requires, of course, existence. In different ways appropriate to the place, time, and culture in which these great spiritual leaders of humanity arose, they also expounded the derivation, maintenance, and dissolution of all phenomena from a single source, the interconnectedness of everything. They also taught the principle of oneness. Again, from other points of view, we are shown the main thing, the primacy of existence and consciousness, and the fact of the unity of everything. Directly from individual experience, each of us can still distill two more principles: harmony and evolution. Harmony is what we call the communion between phenomena of life that manifests itself in a fluid, coherent, aesthetic way. It's when things communicate so intimately that there is no sense of contradiction, friction, or unease. We easily understand harmony in music, in the gurgling of a waterfall in the forests, in two lovers walking hand in hand, in the rising and setting of the sun, in the gentle and progressive breaking of the morning silence by the singing of birds. We live it in ourselves through high ideals, positive emotions of love and calm and joy, through desires dictated by the heart, through actions in balance with the universe. The immature human being only notices harmony when it's missing, when it gives way to chaos. Rarely does one take the time to contemplate the beauty, the wonder, the perfection in movement, the magic that is life as we know it. The infinity of elements that continually dance, sing, and move together to sustain our experience of existence. We feel the lack of harmony when the body asks for water, food, or rest. When voices rise and emotions flare up in arguments. When we trip and fall. When we burn ourselves. When we disobey the love of the heart to be enslaved by the dictatorship of superficial desires of worldly pleasure. The lack of harmony is any contradiction, unnecessary friction, suffering. In short, we go out of harmony whenever we move against the fundamental functional principles of things. Whenever something is used for something other than its perfect function, out of place. We go out of harmony whenever we exert any kind of resistance or violence, large or small, gross or subtle. But whenever we synchronize with life and its forces, whenever we fly with the wings of existence, whenever we manifest the true and perfect function of each thing in its place, whenever we think, feel, desire, and act with love, we are in harmony. And how wonderful it is to be in harmony. never forget. Non-violence in all its forms, it's the essential premise for harmony. Harmony is the mandatory condition for well-being. Whenever we encounter problems in life, let's not look for the source outside of ourselves. It will invariably be in our resistance or violence towards some form or part of existence. When there is harmony, there is evolution. Wherever we shine the light of consciousness, evolution is another of the principles behind everything. The parts that make up each thing in itself and the relationship between things are continually changing, transforming, growing and developing. It is true that to our limited perceptive capabilities, it sometimes seems that some of the phenomena of existence are going backwards, plunging into chaos, the evolving. But as mathematics, physics, and careful observation show, chaos and opposition are only a transitory phase of growth, and all the elements of the universe first defend themselves and fight when they come into contact with a new element, but then learn that they work better together, unite to form a more developed organism, and the process repeats itself infinitely. Any apparent step backwards is simply preparation for a leap forward. All manifestation is constantly moving towards something higher, more beautiful, truer, and more perfect. As Osho once said, existence moves from perfection to perfection. We can internally feel the need created by the fundamental principle of evolution. It manifests as boredom, restlessness, an infinite desire of varying intensities for more, and more. We can try to ignore it, cover it up, repress it, but it will always be there. It's simply part of us. We already have the 5 fundamental principles of life. Some of the archetypal forces that govern all the phenomena in our worlds. The equations that order substance. Existence, consciousness of existence, unity, harmony, and evolution. They can be insurmountable enemies if we try to fight them, not because they want to harm us, but precisely because they are the fundamental fabrics we need to live, and fighting them is attacking our very essence. And they can be divine friendships, magical vehicles, if we accept them and know how to navigate them. Think about them, investigate them in your thoughts, emotions, desires, actions, and perceptions. Meditate on them, integrate them into your path, and you will see how you go from being dragged along to flying through life.